Thank you for tuning in. This is Kingdom Wisdom Season 2 with me, your host, Phoebes. So, before we get into it, I just want to invite us to follow, like, share, rate, and leave that comment in the comment section across all our social media platforms, now inclusive of YouTube and TikTok. Today, I'm joined by Sphokazi Makama, who is a Jesus girl currently studying at the University of South Africa. She is studying forensic science and technology. She's part of an organization called INSMART Financial Services, which serves to bring affordable financial products and is passionate about shedding light on the fundamentals of financial literacy. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Phoebe. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
That's great. In light of this conversation, I just wanted to mention that one of the topics throughout the year was to talk about wealth and how to access wealth with a kingdom mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God desires for us to not struggle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I was watching a video about the late Miles Monroe, and he was just talking about how we don't understand the Bible, and we don't understand our purpose in the sense that poverty is not a situation, it's a mindset, because most people come from various financial backgrounds, and they make it work because companies buy ideas. That was just interesting to me. So to have you talk about financial literacy and how we can attain our goals financially is remarkable to me. So tell us more about INSMART.
Well, okay. So, what you're saying is absolutely true. I think that before I tell you about INSMART, I think that one of our biggest faults, as we grow older or as people that come from certain backgrounds, is that we really stay in those backgrounds and we don't really try to get knowledge, to move forward. So I think that that's what INSMART is really trying to put a remedy on, So when it was founded, the aim was to bring really affordable products into the market, affordable financial products, because, our economy is on a very high decline, and we wanted to try and really help people during emergencies and anything really that they would need money for. So that's when they are looking for the kind of financial products that we offer, they're at an affordable price, But at the forefront as well, what INSMART wanted to do was really educate people about money. Finance at schools is not really taught, financial literacy at schools is not really taught. And it's so sad because then a lot of young people coming out of high school don't really know how to handle money, and our parents are the only source of education, the only type of people that we really saw handling money. So it has really become a cycle, so you find that generations and generations of families and communities repeat the same financial mistakes because they are not really educated. So that's what INSMART wanted to remedy, that, we're not only just selling these products, but we also want to educate you on how to handle your money, on how to budget, on how to save, why it's important to know about money, and why it's important as well to keep a positive mindset around your finances. So that is INSMART's mission, to really give people confidence, in their finances. And that's why we put out a lot of financial education, and we do talks where we really just let people know all about financial literacy. It's a team of young people, dynamic people from different backgrounds, and we just wanted a shot, at financial freedom at a young age. So it was an idea that came up, and we're like, okay, it's a market that it is quite crowded a little bit, but there is so much potential, and we just saw an opportunity and we went for it. But in the process, we wanted to take everybody along on the journey, so it was a thing that started because we saw a need to expand our financial knowledge and expand our financial freedom, making ourselves financially secure. But we also wanted to take everybody, as many people as we can, along on the journey.
Okay. So what's your view on money and financial management?
Okay. Wow. I think that I can't really remember when I had an opinion about money, and such. But growing up, I've always had these big dreams on owning multiple businesses, being financially secure, even though I really didn't know what that meant. But I always knew that I didn't want to struggle as much as I've struggled growing up. And I didn't want to struggle, like I've seen my parents struggle. So I knew that I didn't know what they were doing wrong, but I knew that I wanted to do things differently, and I think then going into varsity, and having to earn my own money at some point, I really got to understand what money meant to me and how managing it was really important. So then I went on a journey to learn, but admittedly, I wasn't really committed to it until the idea to join the team at INSMART came along. But I've always known that, let me read books at least that talk about finances so that I understand why money has such power, and not just in the economy, but in our minds, because I got to learn that what I think about money is so important, because then it involves feelings as well. And, we would realize then that when we feel a type of way about something, we tend to either really feel good about it and do it properly, or we tend to shy away about it and we just avoid it, So I think for the longest time, I knew what I wanted my financial management to look like. But because I didn't have a really good mindset about it, I would just be okay, I'll get to it. I will sort them out. I will be financially literate, in the near future somewhere, and I wouldn't really work towards it. So recently, because I'm almost done with school, I've found that I really want to be financially stable and I really want to manage my money properly. So that's when then money became all the more important and how I handled it. Yeah.
Wow. It's so crazy. How you mentioned that how we feel about money has an impact on how we use our money.
It
how
really, really does.
Yeah. Cause I was reading in the Bible, it was talking about that when we ask God for something, he checks our motives. And if our motives isn't right, we don't access it. And then it goes further, in another book of the Bible to say that, if we can become faithful with the little things, we get trusted with more. Exactly. And I think when we start to put that in context of the things that we desire and the things that we want out of life, we are able to change our perspective and our narrative towards them. And once our narrative becomes positive, we are able to bring the change that we need and the change that we require in those departments, of our lives, or those compartments, because finance is a very important department and compartment in our lives,
Absolutely. I think that, growing up at church, I think the very first step in financial management that the church has taught me, and maybe even taken me quite some time to understand that really God was teaching me how to properly manage my finances, was when, we are taught about our 10% and our tithes and our first fruits. I don't think that as a child of God, if we really want to get a handle of our financial management, I don't think that it will make sense without honoring God with what he has given us, and without really changing how we view money, because then people will take scriptures such as the love of money is the root of evil, and make it seem like it means that if you want money, then it's evil, and that's not what it says. You're talking about motive. And if in our hearts we make money idols, we make money an idol and we love it above everything else to a point where we would do evil, then it's absolutely bad, because then it's an idol and it's standing in the way of everything that God has said, So I think that as really a Christian and understanding our finances, it's very important that even before we learn about the worldly management of it, we must look at our personal lives and be like, do I give my 10%? Do I give my tithe? Do I give my first fruits? And then we know that because the Bible tells us that when we take out our 10%, the rest is going to be blessed, So I think that discipline then comes, financial management, the discipline comes in really honoring what God has said, and taking it further then in teaching yourself about how to save, on how to budget and other streams of income, and then you can take it as further as that. But it's really important to start with saying that, you know what, I want to honor God with my finances, because really it was the first thing about financial management that God has taught us, that whatever you get, first give to me, first honor me, and the rest will go into other things. That is just part of the mindset that I had to learn, and the attitude that I needed to change in how I viewed my finances. So I needed to get that part right first, knowing that if I start with God, then the rest of my money is just going to be blessed, and the rest of the management is just not going to disappear, So it's really important that first arrangement is to really honor God with what He has given us, and He'll really, truly take care of the rest.
Wow, that is like very interesting that you should mention that. I was recently reading on how the Jewish community and how they bring up their children. And they'd be like, okay, this job is 10% tithe. So every single time you get money, you just put 10%. And then this one is for savings. This one is for spending. This one is for, and you will see the Jewish community is brought up on biblical principle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I always say everything starts in the Bible and is taught from the Bible. Financial books are taught from the Bible. Wisdom is taught in the Bible. Everything that we know now begins with the Word of God. You know what I mean? So it's just
really does.
How we view it and how we implement it in our lives. So yeah.
Honestly. Absolutely. And the Jewish people are one of the most wealthy people in the world. And they're not just wealthy individually, but collectively. They're whole communities because of the principle, in the Word of God that they apply in their lives. And I think that the financial principle in allocating what money is for what is really what people should know. Because, previously I had to learn that if I don't know how much I'm earning, right? And if I don't know how much goes where, then I have no idea on how my money works for me, and we're not really talking about huge amounts, but as we said, if you can be faithful in the small things, we can be faithful in the big things. So if people would know, right, how much they earn and how much is allocated where, and why, and what they did with it, it would become so freeing to them, because then they know how their money is working for them. And we really will not know that if we do not budget. I've heard budgeting my whole life, honestly. I really have. But I've never known how to apply it. And I always found it such a tedious task, right? But I realized that I found it tedious because of my attitude towards money. I think that, budgeting restricts me. and it just puts that, it was just off-putting, but truly it isn't. Once I started changing my money mindset, and I wanted to know how my money is working for me, where is my money going? And if I have a lot of money going out, is it going out to make more money for me? Or it's just going out on things that I don't even really know about, So I knew then that I needed to change how I thought about money. And when I did that, then it allowed me to really sit down with my finances and face them, face them, understand what I felt, track down why I felt that way, and just allocate money properly and see how that worked for me. And it really works. I think that young people, anyone really, should try it, write down a simple budget. And so I wanted a lot of people to try this after listening, like a budgeting template or a budgeting method that really helps you sit down, look at how much you earn, and look at where it's going. And as you write those things down, notice how you feel, notice how you feel about the amount on the paper, or if it's digitally, whatever. Notice how you feel. And as you allocate your money, notice how you feel, track down how you feel, why you feel that way, and see what you can do, to improve on that. So it's called the 50-30-20 rule. And all that means is that on this budgeting method, 50% goes to your needs. I used to feel, it's so weird. Before I had the money, I'll be like, oh, okay, I need this, I need that, I need that. But when the money came, I wanted to keep it and not do anything. I just wanted to have the money.
I want to say, guys, don't be stingy, man.
Yes, I just wanted to have the money. I just wanted to be like, oh, there's money in my bank account or whatever. It's something silly like that. But then I would neglect things that I really needed to do. And then when it was finished, I'll be like, oh man, I should have. I wanted to do that, because had I done that, I wouldn't be worrying now. You know what I mean? So in this method, 50% in your budget, 50% needs to go to your needs, So I imagine that the audience listening are different people, whether you're a high school student, whether you are working or a business person, whatever you are in your life, 50% needs to go to your needs. And your needs could look like rent, mortgage, groceries, loan repayments, insurance, transport. All of those things could be part of your needs, the things that you need on a monthly basis, sometimes even on a weekly. So that's mostly comprises of bills, right? And then 30% in that method goes to wants, right? 30% of your salary or of your income goes then to your wants. So those are things like subscriptions on your Netflix, subscriptions on your Apple Music and all such things. Those are not needs. Those are just luxury things, guys. I know you're going to crucify me for that, but seriously, you should not put this on your 50%. Put it on your 30%, and those are your wants, and then that's your takeout as well. That's sponsoring your hobbies as well. And that's for treats and gifts. So anything that you don't really need to survive on a monthly basis, 30% goes to that, because we really do have quite a lot of those things, going on in our lives. And then 20% of that, of your income or your salary, then goes to saving. I cannot emphasize the importance of saving. You need to save some amount of your salary, of your earnings. And in this method, it recommends 20%. But you know what? You can even save 5%. You can even save 10%, You can even save 50 if you earn that much. Do you understand what I mean? But you need to save some type of amount of your earnings, because then what happens if you have an emergency? what happens if, for whatever reason, but it's very important to save. And I would advise or recommend that, we save in banks, or we save in like buying bonds or investments, so that the money is not just sitting somewhere and not accumulating, but we are saving the money and it also accumulating some sort of interest. So that's it. That's the budgeting method, and once we sit and we really allocate all of these amounts in their different categories, it really helps us to have control, because not managing our money properly does sometimes make us feel like we are not in control of our lives. Mm-hmm. So however money that we're earning right now, wherever we are in our lives, it's not too late to start budgeting. No matter how small the amount that you are getting every month or every week, it's never too late to start budgeting. We need to start where we are and just work our way upwards like that.
Sis, I also wanted to ask, because people have this idea that you don't have enough money to invest. How do we go about investing?
Right. Okay. So one of the biggest lies, I think, around, proper financial management and money saving and all of that is the idea that we don't really have enough to invest, but you would find that people don't even know about different investment opportunities that are out there. So I would say that the very first thing that we can do is know what's out there. I will give some tools on here, but Google is a very great tool, and even Instagram and even Facebook are really good tools, and people, like, you'll notice that people have all of these hashtags on their posts, and that's to really guide people when they are searching for something. So search that up, look up about investments, and you'll find an array of information, and you will eventually find different investments. And I will say affordable investments that are out there, available for people. The first one that I will mention, and we are not like promoting or anything, but the really first one that I found very easy, and it has really supplied for me a great way to start investing without hustle and without a lot of paperwork and all of the things that I really don't even understand yet, is Easy Equities. Easy Equities is a platform where you can buy different kinds of investment packages. You can buy shares from big companies in South Africa. There's a lot of things on there, and you can even invest with as little as 2 rands, as little as 5 rands. You can buy shares as little as 5 rand. So those are options that are available, but also I find that what's important to us, we really direct our money towards, right? Mm. So when we look at how much we spend a month on takeout food, we'll find that 500 rands, that 300 rands, you can buy shares somewhere, for that amount of money. You can buy shares for, you can buy bonds at companies like INSMART Financial Services has bonds for as little as 300 rands. And if you can save that money, saying that you want to invest, you're not going to take out, you're not going to go out for food in that month, and you're saving 300 rands, 500 rands, Others even spend like 1,000 rands on food. You can just buy bonds, or you can go to Easy Equities and have all of those options available to us. You know what I mean? So it's really just directing what's important to us, looking at where we can cut down on, and making ourselves knowledgeable. I can't emphasize how important it is looking for information. Ask some people, there's always somebody that knows something about something. So it's very important that we do not just sit and be like, oh, I don't know about investments. I don't know how you do it. I'm probably going to need a lot of money. And you know what? I'm just going to go with the flow. But the flow ain't going. You need to be intentional about looking for that information, being intentional about saving even, So I think those are the options that are available. And I think that once we really become intentional about wanting to invest, there's a lot in our income that we can cut out on and use as investment money.
And I think one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that an investment, I can take out the money tomorrow. Like,
right.
There's different types of investment. There's like long term, there's short term, and there's,
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. I think, yes.
Yeah, one of the parts about investing is the patience. You know what I mean? Like a tree doesn't grow overnight. There's small work that we need to do to make sure that we are moving financially in the right direction, not just for us, but for generations after us. Yeah.
Exactly. I think one of the only thing I've realized that people find energy for when it comes to like money is all of these quick things. We're doing quick stuff. We want to reach a profit quick. But if we really want to do it properly and we want to see the results of our labor, it's important to notice that anything that you plant takes time to grow, and if you have put in the work, the rewards are sweeter because the work you've put in, unlike something that you didn't work for and you just get a lump sum out of nowhere. You will never know how to really manage that money. You'll never know how to use it wisely because you didn't work for it. So I really encourage everybody to not feel discouraged about how long it could take. Already when you go and invest, you choose a period. It's short term, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, and people should understand that these things take time and we're not running out of time, but instead it really is that an investment to our future. You never know what will happen, and your grandchildren might need that money, 10, 20 years from now. So we need to understand that we're even planting for seasons that we might not even experience ourselves, So that's what really investment is about. That when we need to supplement and we don't have right now, we remember where we planted. So when we invest, we need to have that mindset. Yes, we should always think long term. We should not always want immediate and short term results and awarding, of our hard work. So I'd advise people to really wait it out, and make that investment to the future, a future that you might see, or a future that your children might see. And that's a biblical concept, that once we plant, some of the things that we are planting now, we're not even going to experience them in our lifetime. So yeah, we shouldn't worry that I want my investment to pay out quickly.
Yeah, so I think it is important what you're saying, that we need to learn and honestly search, because other people will scam us because of our view on money. And sometimes our view on money isn't like the best because we don't feel worthy of the money.
Right.
And I think like that in itself is very interesting. Like when I don't feel like I deserve something, I'm at a risk to abuse it. I'm at a risk to blow it all. So how do we change our perspective towards money?
Okay. That's such a good question. So I do have a few tips on how to improve our money mindset, how to have a positive money mindset. I think the very first thing is understanding your thoughts and emotions surrounding money, and this goes beyond you, some of those emotions and thoughts might have been projected by your surroundings, at home, at school, in your community. So understand all of that from all perspectives. Understand your thoughts and emotions surrounding money. We might think that we understand our patterns when it comes to money, but taking a deeper look might provide us like with an interesting insight, So there's an exercise that I would like people, or a challenge that I would like people to try, and they will find it. I don't know if I should like just share with them on here, or they can find it like on INSMART Financial Services page, and they can just try that exercise to understand what they feel and think when it comes to money. It's just going to help them, decipher and jot down some of the things that goes on in their heads when finances are concerned. And then I think that's another thing that I would say, and I have personally experienced it, is forgiveness. If we are going to have a positive outlook on money, we need to forgive our financial mistakes. I know they were terrible decisions that I've made in the past, like terrible financial decisions that I've made in the past. And I regret them, but I really had to forgive myself. Nobody's perfect. And yeah, it's very important. If I'm going to move forward, it's important that I forgive myself and I don't continually beat myself up about those bad financial decisions that I've made, because if I do that, then I'm literally gatekeeping myself and I'm just sabotaging myself, and it's not helpful to anybody.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
I think having a good relationship with money comes with like any other relationship, like real life. Like if you've forgiven someone, I'm not going to constantly remind you of what you did in the past or where we could have been. Yeah.
Exactly. So why do we do that with ourselves then,
And why do we do that with our finances?
Why do we do that with our finances? Like, forgive yourself, move on. It was a bad decision. The money is gone. Make sure that you learn from it, and then make sure that something like that does not happen again. So that's really it. Forgive your past financial mistakes. That is really going to set us free. And then I mentioned the other one, which was budgeting and trying the 50-30-20 rule. So just try to create a budget that brings you joy. Stop thinking about a budget as something that is like restricting and boring and all of these things, but think of it as growing boundaries. People have boundaries these days. It's become a really big topic. So set boundaries for yourself as well. And like a budget really provides that, And then another thing then is working on forming good habits, We mustn't shy away from our finances. Instead, we should try to set aside time, I love this one. We should try and set aside time, maybe every week or every day or every month, where we can go over our bills and our budget and our spending habits. See what patterns we can see on there, and then highlight areas where there needs improvement, and then we set realistic goals and reward ourselves in small ways when we reach those goals, So we can't really deal with something that we can't confront. So we are going to work on forming good money habits, looking at our finances regularly, see what patterns we can pick up, see where we need improvement, and see where we even improved from the previous month, and congratulate ourselves.
And I think one of the interesting things that I found recently is that fear sometimes also tends to be a driving force in our finances. Like, because I come from a certain background, now I'm actively working towards never being there, but not from out of good motive, it's more out of negative motive. So now I'm overdoing it. Like, when I grew up, I was broke, so I'm going to make sure it never happens. So now my spending habits are exceedingly increasing, or I'm exceedingly becoming very stingy with money. And so money's not going, money's not coming. It's just there. So I don't end up enjoying life itself.
Yeah. Exactly. So we need to find that perfect balance, we cannot be on either side of the extremes, So we need to find that perfect balance. And we cannot find that balance if we cannot confront and see what we're dealing with, So once in a while, weekly, monthly, sit down and confront your finances, see what's going on, and then formulate a way forward. No one can do it better than you,
Also, I just wanted to point out, I think we didn't really touch on this topic, but around scammers. I just wanted to say, like, the easiest way to get scammed in terms of finance. I know, like, most people aren't keen on investments because they're afraid of being scammed. But the quickest way to get scammed is not learning. Like, most people, because if you want instant results, you will get scammed because people promise you instant.
I like to believe that we wouldn't really want all of these quick get-rich schemes had we known how money works, So knowledge really is power, and the application of knowledge really sets us free. So let us educate ourselves on what good investment looks like, so that when fake investments and all of these scams come, we are able to tell the difference. But right now, we can't tell the difference because we don't know, So ignorance is not bliss, but knowledge is power. So let us strive to constantly know what's happening in the financial world and about our finances. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I have one more tip.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to, I think the final tip then is remember to be thankful always, and this is my favorite tip then on forming good or positive money mindset is remembering to be thankful, be thankful for everything that you have, no matter where you are. It might not be as much as you want, but it's what you have right now, and it's always worth celebrating. And God delights over a thankful heart. You know what I mean? So practicing thankfulness really makes us grateful people, but it also makes us peaceful people. So it keeps the jealousy and the greediness at bay, and then it keeps discontentment at bay. And it really just makes us thank God for what we have and, healthily strive for the more that we want.
Yeah. And I think also like we need to also get to that point whereby we're able to be honest about where we are financially. Because there's no point in competing with someone and you find yourself in debt.
And you find yourself in debt, So I think those kind of things come when we really, really feel discontent. And discontentment is kept at bay by gratefulness, because someone somewhere has less than what you have. And yes, you have less than what somebody else might have, but you have something. And a grateful heart always pleases God, so we should always practice gratefulness. Instead of looking at other people, all of these feelings then of jealousy, of this or discontentment really comes when we are not grateful, So gratefulness and practicing gratitude makes us stay in our lane, because then you don't really notice other people doing what they do, because you're focused on what you have and you are thankful for it. So it's very important to stay in our lanes. Don't try to match the standard. Jesus is the standard, just stay in your lane. And we do that when we are grateful for what we have right now. Being grateful will always make us healthily strive for more, so that's very important. It really does it.
Well, thank you, sis. Any last words you want to leave us with, words of wisdom or financial wisdom, please feel free. But I just want to say thank you. And what are the words of wisdom that you have for us?
I think lastly, I'd love to really encourage people to start where they are. When something has gone on for a while, it's hard to feel like you can start, but you can start again wherever you are. It's not too late. I found that having control over our finances is a confidence booster. So start where you are. Don't be shy. Confront your finances and let us carve a way forward for a better future for ourselves and our children's children's children's. Because the Bible tells us that we are wise when we leave an inheritance for our generations to come. And that can be a financial inheritance and even a spiritual one. So let's get that going. Start where you are. See what you can do and start.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to host you. Thank you so much for the wisdom on finance. Much needed.
Thank you.
Topic.
Thank you so much. I had fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. This is Kingdom Wisdom. Join us in next week's episode as we continue to dive deep into purpose. Don't forget to follow, like, share, rate, and leave that comment in the comment section across all our social media platforms, now inclusive of YouTube and TikTok.